All right. Welcome back. Welcome back. So the question I want to ask on this segment is: did Ned Nwoko lie? Okay, did he lie?
Oh, you're right.
Well, we don't know, right? You know me. I don't have a problem saying I don't know. Okay, I don't have any problem saying I don't know. I can come here and say I don't know repeatedly until 8 minutes it's over, and then we have another video. But of course, I'm not going to do you like that, you know. But did he lie? My personal belief, I don't think it's a matter of lie or truth, but I think it's an incompetent husband all around. Okay, because what do we come here to talk about life and relationships from, we extract those lessons from trendy topics, right? So I think it's an incompetent husband. If competencies will go towards, or who's able to tell the most truth, then obviously everybody will be getting it right, because all you have to do is just tell the truth, and then you have a solid relationship in your hands.
You doing what?
Yeah, nah, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. It requires a lot more than your law degree. For those, I'm a lawyer, so I know how this thing works. I beg.
Stop the cap.
Anyway, let me finish off what Regina Ono. I continue from the last segment. If you want to go find that video, your own daughter. Okay, we already read that part. Okay, all right. So she said, let me see. She said, "Why don't you face?" This is Regina Ono. I think she was an actress or something like that. Now they call her online activist. Okay, so she went and dug up a bunch of stuff because Uncle Ned decided to want to continue to shalaye and match energies of shalaye, explain with the wife. Right? He decided to do that, and every time you do that, you could just explain. No evidence.
You go explain because no evidence.
So she continued what she was writing earlier on. She said, "Why don't you face women of your age?" She's talking to Ned Nwoko. Your own experience, your own standing, the lawyers, doctors, professionals, leaders of Nigeria and beyond. You avoid them because they cannot be groomed, managed, and intimidated. That's not what he said, though. He said because he's looking for a virgin. And he got married to Regina after 3 weeks of his own words, after 3 weeks of meeting her. So instead, you pursue the young, the impressionable, and when they finally break free, you launch public crusades to punish them. That's not the first time you were doing that. I know the previous wife he did that too. Might have been, I think she went back to his house. Of course, there's a lot of back and forth, But again, men who continue to think they can get away with this kind of stuff, they will continue to collect. They will continue to get dumped. Okay, mark my words. They will continue to get dumped. It's just what it is. Okay, because it's not sustainable. Okay, the only thing you can do is come back to the public and bark. And you know what thing? You have enough Nigerians to give you sympathy. Because Nigerians too themselves, there's a reason why they chose the kind of leaders that they have. Don't forget, it's the same mindset across the board, from poor to rich. It's the same thing. Anyway, that is not leadership, she says. That is not honor. That is control. You should be covering your face in shame while your colleague Natasha is building, empowering, and serving our constituents. Okay, I guess you're a Natasha supporter. You are here every day on social media fighting a young woman who has already left your life. Nigerians deserve far better than this display. Now, Nigerians deserve better than the leader they chose, or they select or elect. Okay, if you say so. Okay, let me leave that one there. This is not strength. This is unraveling, and the world can see. Okay. Anyway. Did he lie? No, I don't think it's relevant. Again, I've been saying that. I don't think it's relevant. She might have been smoking shisha or smoking Mali. She admitted to Maria says, do we? That's the question I'm asking. Do we deserve better leader? Like, what do you mean by we deserve better leader? Can you explain yourself? Anyway, I think I want to really highlight what I always say here. It is not about who is telling the lie or who is telling the truth. If you're telling the truth and you believe strongly you're telling the truth, it is still a function of your limited visibility into reality of life. All of us fantasize to a large extent. All of us also face a level of logic, reality. We can rationalize, we can reason, right? If you are here, you can reason. There's no question about that. You can reason reasonably, right? But also, that's your ability to reason. It's a function of everything you know, which there's still more to know. If you agree that we're all still always learning, then you have to agree that if you're able to reason and come up with what is truth and what is lie, it is based on the information you're exposed to, right? Sometimes also based on what you believe in, your belief system, your religion, the way you were raised, your environment, the kind of people you surround yourself with, your mindset, right? So there's a lot more that goes into what the actual truth is. The closest way to look at truth, the closest thing to truth is results. The result you are creating. If the result we are creating is that marriages are breaking apart, either you call it traditional or you call it customary or you call it court marriage, every one of them. Some people say, oh, we just don't divorce in Nigeria. Sometimes you just tell her to go to her father's house. Sometimes you just, she pack and go to her father's house. And we have people that packed and go to did you record the data? No, you didn't record the data, but you come back with a 3% divorce rate in Nigeria. People could make sense. It's not making sense. So you can gather sense. Dear. But anyway, did it lie? No, it's not relevant. It's not about everybody that goes into a relationship and you're in that relationship, you have your own experience. Even the same two people that are one based on the concept of my husband and married and wife, they are one, right? They still have two different experiences. Okay, they have two different unique experiences. Yes, they might align certain experiences and be having a good time. We say, oh yeah, we saw red yesterday. You're right, it was red, right? But when there's crisis, there's a reason why there was crisis. When there's conflict, there's a reason why. It's because two people are seeing two different things. They're experiencing two different things. There's a misalignment, if you will. They are not united, if you can imagine, right? So, and that's what creates crisis. And being able to navigate out of that is what I call competence. But if all you are doing is saying, I'm right, and you're wrong, what do you think that's going to end up like? What do you think is going to happen if all you're doing is, I'm right and you're wrong? Let me even flip it for you. Let's make it easier for you, seemingly easier, right? If all you're going to do is say, no, I'm wrong, my husband, and you're always right. What do you think that's going to happen to a man? You think he's just going to be like, oh, I have a feminine woman. I have a feminine woman at home. You think that's how easy it is? You just flip side and you call yourself accountable. And you think you flip side and that's it. No, he's not going to respect you. It's an indirect thing. There's no challenge here, right? And that's going to eventually be boring. So even though we need certainty, right? We also need variety. We need somebody that will ginger me, somebody that will challenge my thoughts, because I understand that's why that's where the best growth is sometimes. The most growth you're going to have in real life, if you desire marriage only, I'm talking to you, the most growth you're going to have is inside of marriage. It doesn't mean you cannot grow to an extent before you enter marriage. But please have some realistic expectations of yourself and tone it down, calm down. What I'm asking you to do is be open-minded, okay? Be open-minded to the possibility that you don't know shit. Yeah, I know you've read all the books in this world. I know you know all the terminologies, all the psychology terms. I know, but be calming down. It is not about who is telling the lie or who is telling the truth. It's a lot more than that, okay? You're going to need it's a lot more than that. When you break it down to granular details, which takes time and patience, you might find out that, yeah, it's still right and wrong. But you don't want to approach it from that standpoint, because it's easy for you to be received as judgmental, defensive, highly critical. These are things that lead to divorce, even when you're right.
Let the poor breathe.
Do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. Let's move on to some other trendy stories around the world. I'll be right back. This is Ola, Man of Prestige, your favorite relationship and marriage coach. If you enjoyed this, smash that like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs it. Be a part of the Prestige family. My wife Lola and I have written 2 powerful books, Get My Marriage Back and Number 1 Red Flag, yours free at manofprestige.com. For personal coaching, send me a WhatsApp request for consultation to +1 732 305 8577. Stay tuned for more. Your journey to love and prestige starts here.